大家好，欢迎回到我的频道. Welcome back to the channel. The title says it already, my China story. I'm gonna share my story, how I ended up in China. It's actually the second time I'm sharing it on YouTube. The first time I did it on my other channel, Olive Green Road. But because this channel is all about China, I'm gonna start off fresh, explain everyone how I ended up in China, what did I do over there, and yeah, why did I left? So let's go. It all started in 2015. It was the first time I visited China, and it was actually with a school trip, believe it or not. We organized a tour, and it was like for 1.5 weeks we visited Chengdu. That was my first city ever visiting in China. Then we went to Xi'an and Beijing. Amazing experience. It was my first time in Asia, and that really opened up my eyes, seeing like the possibilities that were happening in China, the growth of the country, how the size of the country. I was really impressed, but I never imagined myself living there. I was very fascinated by it, but it was not like, oh, now I want to move to China and live over there. Didn't have that, but yeah, that was my first time really experiencing China. So after this trip in China, I finished with school, and then I decided to go backpacking in Southeast Asia. I did Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Singapore. I did like a backpacking trip of 6 months. I was 20 years old. Yeah, had the best time in my life, met amazing people, still in touch with until today. Yeah, it was in the place Cambodia. I met my ex-girlfriend in Krabi. No, she's not from China, she was is from Peru. Yeah, we met over there and yeah, had an amazing time in Cambodia. We traveled together to Vietnam. Then went separate ways. I went back to Netherlands. She was living in the States. We were always like in touch with each other. The time through Facebook, call a lot. Yeah, I really liked her. So we catched up again in Paris. She got a job offer in China, in Shanghai. I had the summer off, so I was like, you know what? I really like this girl. I've been to China before. I like Asia, so let me just go there for 3 months to see how things work out between us. Fast forward, bought a ticket to Shanghai. And it was my first time over there. Decided to stay for 3 months, and then after 1 month I really loved it. And yeah, for me it made more sense to move over there than for her moving to Amsterdam. My parents were not very happy at that time, but then after 1 month I was like, hey, I want to move to China, I want to move to Shanghai, I want to be with my ex-girlfriend at that time. From her first job, she got an apartment arranged, and it was in Minhang district, like kind of the suburbs of Shanghai. It was pretty far from the city center. Almost took like bit more than 1 hour to go to the center. So this was like the suburbs of Shanghai, but still very developed. Like you have everything there, like shopping malls, like stores, a lot of restaurants, but almost nobody speaks English. There are almost no foreigners. So it was kind of difficult because yeah, I arrived in China, she didn't speak Chinese, I couldn't speak any word of Chinese. So we were really standing out in that area, even though we're in Shanghai, like this massive city that's like super international, the most international city in China. But it was 2017. There were still a lot of foreigners, but in this area, yeah, there were not that many foreigners. So it was kind of difficult at the beginning to order food and this kind of stuff, like the small things. And it felt like an adventure arriving in China. But honestly, I really loved it. I was like surprised every time we go to like a new store or a new restaurant. Explore the city. It was like such a fun time, like so adventurous. We could go for weekend trips to Hangzhou, to Suzhou. Yeah, I really felt like discovering the country. And of course I was 21. Also, it was my first time living together with someone, like living completely alone for such a long time. I had living by myself one time in Amsterdam for just a couple of months. But this was really the first time, I would say, like being on my own. Yeah, then also moving to the other side of the world. And starting a new life. My family was all in Netherlands. We didn't know anybody in China. She had some few Chinese friends from her work, but that's about it. So we had to start like basically from scratch. It was a bit difficult in the beginning. I started to learn Mandarin and did some English teaching on the side to get some money. But yeah, coming back from Netherlands, I moved all my stuff. Was living in China in Minhang district. Ex-girlfriend, she got a new job, a better job, better pay for her. And yeah, I was like still kind of finding my way also in this English teaching industry, but yeah, it was not something I really wanted to do. But yeah, of course I needed to make money, and that was at that time one of the most easiest things to do to make good money. She got a new job offered. We moved to Huainan or Nanhui. This is super far away from the center of Shanghai, but we got like a better apartment, like a 3-bedroom apartment. Bought myself like an electric scooter. Yeah, like so we were like in the far away from the center. Almost took like 1.5 hours to go back to the city center. So we had like our little bubble in Huainan, Nanhui. We actually stayed there for 6 months. But of course we love to go back to the city center, but yeah, it took every time 1.5 hour or 250 RMB because it's close by the airport. It was that far. So yeah, of course all our friends that we met were living more into downtown. So yeah, every time we still went over there. My Chinese school was over there too. And also my other side jobs were there as well. So I was like constantly traveling, running as fast as possible to get into the metro because that metro was packed, Chinese style, like super packed. That was really the beginning of our stage, and yeah, we kind of start building our life more in Shanghai. But then after 6 months, like she got another job closer to the center, and yeah, we wanted to move to another area. So that's what we did. Then at the same time, simultaneously with English teaching, I was doing a lot of different startups. Man, I've tried a lot of different things. A lot of things didn't work out. So in Europe, I was working at a company that was organizing big group tours for companies, or business events, or company events, or group tours in nice destinations in Europe. So I did an internship over there, had some experience in that field. Then I was thinking, hey, why don't we target like Chinese golf clubs and organize golf experiences in Europe, and then maybe combine it with real estate. So I already had this in my mind, like, oh, we could maybe potentially sell real estate to them. You have to think golf in China is a very elite sport. Memberships can be almost like $100K or $150K US dollars. So for me, it was like, oh, this is the elite group. They have money. Makes sense. We can do like luxury tours to Europe, put them in very nice hotels, and then basically because we go with a group, we can negotiate deals with these places and then make some margin on top of it. That was the plan. So there were a few obstacles. I would say the first one, my Chinese was not good enough. Looking back, I should have partnered up with a local Chinese partner to do the sales. And then the second problem, I sucked at golf. So I actually managed to get like a few appointments at these golf clubs, but then my golf was so bad. They're like, hey, this guy's not even, like, how can we take this guy serious, right? Like, how can he organize golf tours if he cannot play? So yeah, looking back, I wanted to offer something. Well, I was not even an expert in that field, right? Yes, I could organize the tours, but to get like the golf directors on board, of course I should have been able to play like very good golf, because then they're like, hey, let's go. Oh yeah, Olaf, he's nice, like he can play a round of golf. So yeah, actually I had a few meetings, but yeah, my golf was not good enough that they were like, oh, let's just go to the range. So yeah, looking back, first of all, become first an expert in the field or in something you want to sell. And the second thing, I should have partnered with a local Chinese to help him with doing the sales. That would have been way easier to start. So yeah, I moved to Jiangsu, that's more in the center of Shanghai, and yeah, that was so much better. It was like super nice to live there. Really loved the neighborhood. It's close to Zhongshan Park. And yeah, I traveled a lot in China. We loved discovering China. I've been to many different places, to Guilin, Huangshan, I've been to Taishan, been to Sanya, Beijing a couple times, Chongqing, but that was later. So a lot of foreigners, they actually stayed in the expat bubble. That's how I call it. They just stay in the Shanghai city center. But for me, I try to see the real China, the outside China, the more the local life, and how the less developed cities look like. So that was really something I really enjoyed, going to these like less developed places or more remote places in China and see how the local Chinese people live compared to people in Shanghai that are more international, and a lot of foreigners over there. So I really started building my life in Shanghai. I had a lot of new friends, nice group. I got a bit older as well. Eventually the golf experience didn't work out, so I started shifting more to the trading business, for example, scooters or other different kind of products. send them to Europe and make some money out of it. My ex-girlfriend was also making more money. Her apartment was getting paid by her company. So we were living like very comfortable, especially me. I was like trying to save a lot of money. During the week I was living like Chinese lifestyle, so just eat like Chinese food all the time. And then like life is pretty cheap if you only go to like foreign restaurants or fancy places. Then life was more expensive, but I could have saved a lot of money in my time in China. The only issue I had was getting the visas all the time because I was on a short-term student visa learning Chinese. Eventually I set up my own company and got a work permit, but that took some time and also an initial capital investment of 10,000 US dollars, and then I could get a Chinese work permit. But yeah, it took some time before getting from the student visas converting into a work visa, because it's not that easy. They don't give visas away that fast. And the student visa I had was every time single entry, so traveling was always a bit like tricky, like how can I go back? So that time I didn't feel really stable, but I got the work permit ready. Yeah, I could travel in and out. It was way more easy. Yeah, then eventually moved to my last apartment. Was in Zhongshan Park. It's actually one of my favorite areas. It's close to Jiangsu Road, so it was basically the same area. And yeah, then I had this plan, another big startup plan that was actually making. So in China I had WeChat Pay, Alipay. This was big at that time. And in Europe we only had Apple Pay. It's not just an app like WeChat Pay or Alipay with these mini apps and all these functions they have. I had this plan, okay, why I don't make a similar copy app and then introduce it in the European market. This was a very, very big bet, of course. I put a lot of my savings into this app, almost all my savings at that time. And we start building out the idea, like getting a team together. We had people in Serbia. Yeah, that's how I kind of like gradually started the plan and raised some friends and family around, raised some money. So we had like a good starting capital to build this app. But I mean, his background was definitely in tech. I have no background in tech, and maybe looking back, it was maybe a bit too early for me to start such a big venture. So as a startup was focused on the European market, we had our office set up in Serbia because like he was from there and the people are more cheap, the developers are more cheaper over there. So we had our office in Serbia in Niš. Been there many times, went there. So I was like going back and forth to China and to Europe, also to Amsterdam, trying to raise money for this app. And then we had the MVP getting developed. The thing is, to make such an app, we just maybe overestimated how much work and how much money we actually needed. Like along the way we said like, oh, we need to have an e-money license, like all these requirements. And yeah, we're like, because if you look at WeChat, it's like multiple apps combined, and that's like actually the superpower, right? Yeah, we didn't have like a clear strategy. Oh, should we go for the Alipay way, just making a payment app, or like make WeChat with messaging, social media, and then everything combined? Our strategy was not clear, so we made like wrong decisions. Yeah, and it was just a super big project because for them to build this app also cost like millions of euros in the end to make such a thing. So yeah, we underestimated like how much money we had to raise to get this thing running. Yeah, so in the end, fast forward, COVID happened. So the last time I was in China was actually end of November, December 2019, during my time there. And then I went back for the holidays to Europe, then stayed there a bit longer, of course, for the app. And then COVID started to happen. I just broke up with my ex-girlfriend, and then I was looking back for tickets to go to China. My visa was almost expiring as well, so I had to renew my visa. But yeah, COVID started there. It came all from there. Nobody really knew what was happening. Borders were closing. Flight tickets were 5,000-6,000 euros one way, and I didn't know if I could go back. And the thing was, my life was already more shifting to Europe because I had this startup thing. Just broke up with my ex-girlfriend, and then this COVID virus was starting in China, right? I mean, nobody knows exactly where it comes from, but it started in Wuhan, China, and we all seen those images, how it was over there. So for me, I was not really jumping, oh, I need to go back on the first plane to China now. But of course, I didn't know at that time that the borders were closing for so many years and I could never go back. So in the end, decided to stay in Netherlands with my family. So moved back into my parents' house, and borders were closing. Yeah, and then like the app didn't work out. Otherwise, I would have been a billionaire by now. But yeah, had a great learning experience. Lost money, but I learned a lot through the whole process, and I still take all these learnings with me until today. Yeah, so then after the app I decided to stay in the Netherlands because yeah, the borders were still closed. For me, it was just like hard from abroad to get a job in China. I just decided it was easier to stay in the Netherlands. I got a job over there. I just worked in the corporate world. And the first time I could go back to China was in December 2023 after 4 years. And it felt so nice going back. All this time, all these years, I was always still like speaking Chinese with my friends, like going for Chinese restaurants. But then I could go finally back to China. Really felt like coming back to my second home. And yeah, after that, I still keep traveling to China. Unfortunately, like my business, yeah, doesn't really match with China. Of course, I can get Chinese clients to invest in Spanish or US real estate, but I cannot really operate in China itself, in mainland China, that I sell Chinese real estate to foreigners. That's not really going to happen. So yeah, unfortunately with my current work, doesn't make sense to move back to China, but I still loved going there, and I've been this year already 3 times, traveling many times to China, and I will keep going back because I have so many friends over there, and I love the country so much, and I want to keep discovering new places. So that's one of the reasons why I also made this channel, because I can make more content about China, because it's really my passion. And I feel a lot of people don't really understand the country and its culture. So with these kind of videos, I try to people make more excited and that they actually visit the country and give like a better image of China. Because yeah, in the West, they don't have a good image. And honestly, I don't think it's really fair, because yes, they have a different system and they have their own way of thinking and doing, but honestly, how they're portrayed in Western countries is not really like that. So that's also one of my goals with this channel, is like, okay, show people the other good side of China. And of course, they also have their bad side. That's every country, right? Each country has their pros and cons. But with this channel, I want to show a different side of China, and yeah, just go a bit more deep into the country and its culture. One day I hope to show my kids the places I used to live in China, and yeah, maybe even teach them Chinese. China will always have a special place in my heart. Really love the country. So yeah, this was the end of the video. This was my China story. Let me know in the comments what you think. I hope it inspires you to go to China as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And see you in the next video. Peace out.